Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I am your host today, the library director at the Cottonwood Public Library, Ryan Bigelow. And I've brought with me our most introverted employee.
Yeah.
He's a pretty shy guy. Marc Quisumbing, our library specialist for teens. Jan, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. So today we want to talk a little bit about, we want to get beyond the COVID stuff. We want to start thinking about moving out of it. We are open. We want to let everybody know that we are open at the Cottonwood Public Library. Can you just give everybody a brief overview of some of the services that we have again?
We're open. We're busy. The computers are back, full back. Seating is back. We've got chairs for you. So you can come in and get comfy, read your paper, use the computer. The meeting rooms are back, people are starting to use them again, so that's been really nice. So it's nice to see all the different clubs who would meet at the library, so that's been good.
So the meeting rooms, that's been something we've missed a ton. We had to use it as our quarantine room. We were putting books in there for 3-4 days, then bringing it out. We're not doing that anymore, so you can use our meeting room space. How does somebody make a reservation for a meeting room?
So ctwpl.info is our library webpage, and it's calendar of events.
Yes.
So when you click on the calendar of events, the Yes calendar pops up, and you can go in there and you can search. One, you'll see all the libraries in the Yavapai Library Network that have events going on, and then you can search by library, by room, and reserve the room, and then staff will get back to you and say, "Yep, you're good to go. There's no conflicts," and so that's been great.
How much does that cost?
That is free.
It's free, really.
That is free. That is
free meeting room space. That's
how
wonderful.
Nice is that you can have that in the community?
Yep, there's a lot of folks, maybe some folks aren't ready for that quite yet, but a lot of folks who are looking to have those meetings, come talk to us about that. Computers, we've got computers open for everybody, both kids and adults. Want to make sure we talk about our jobs computers a little bit. What is a jobs computer at the Cottonwood Public Library?
So the jobs computer, it's kind of right off the main circulation area, and it is there for those who are looking for employment, whether they're just going to go through Indeed or they just want to search job sites and see what's available in the area. And you have a longer time there, so you can work on a resume and just apply to jobs. It's great. It's filling a need. It's also filling a need with teens.
With teens, right.
So that's been a very interesting 2 weeks for me.
Good. So the jobs computer, though, if you want to print your resume, how much does that cost?
It's free.
Free.
We want you to be able to do this.
We want you to print your resume. Come to the Cottonwood Public Library, print your resume, hand that out to all those employers who are eager to hire right now.
Very eager.
Help us help you find that next job. Programs, computers at the kids area. Is there homework zones? Where
so our homework zone is still there, and then we still have when you walk into youth services, we have computers downstairs. We have 4 laptops upstairs. We still have our study room has shifted from being where it was to where it is now. So the computers are now out upstairs on the main floor, kind of right across from my desk. So they can come and use them as they need to. Library card or guest pass is needed, and so it's just we're open. And if after school, if they want to come in and just be on the computer, great. If they need to do homework, by all means. So use the Wi-Fi too.
Yeah, and how much is that?
I believe it's $3.
Free dollars.
Yes,
good.
It's $3.
Again, the Wi-Fi at the Cottonwood Public Library is free. If you got homework and you need to do homework and you actually need to print something, that is free.
Yep, I've never.
We want to help both.
Don't charge.
Both the kids and the adults, get to where they need to be there. So during COVID, obviously, we made a lot of alterations to our programming. We really hit the virtual programming. Facebook was a big piece, still is, but now tell us about what's coming back a little bit as far as programming.
So in youth services, story time is back. So last week we started in-person story time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's still at 10 o'clock with Miss Adela and Miss Cindy, and sometimes we'll have some special guests. like yourself. So for the Tuesday story time, it's usually ages 0 to 2, and then Thursday story time is ages 2 through 5. But we kind of play it fast and loose and just see how what the crowd looks like. You come in, and it's not in the program that's behind the front desk. It's more out in the youth services area. We have some nice hula hoops set up, so we have those there for and parents. Everybody picked up like, okay, this is it, this is cool, and kind of keeps the kids in, kind of wrangles them in so they can't get out.
We've got the kids in their little circles to try to keep some distancing there. It's a bigger space, so it's easier to stay distant. But we're also there in person, and I know I was talking to Adela the other day, and she was just thrilled to speak to somebody, to have an audience.
It's nice to see the interaction.
Yeah, there is some interaction. There's more than just a camera there. But what are we doing still? Are we still doing it virtually if you want?
So we're kind of rotating every other week. One of the story times will be pre-recorded and uploaded afterwards. Spanish story time we're still trying to work out timing of it, but it's going to be virtual until we can see what happens. It's all scheduling, just kind of figure out, okay, once this piece ends, then we should do this piece. Family craft right now is virtual, but we're figuring out again scheduling how that, because it's a setup and breakdown. We're like, oh, that's a lot to do.
Yeah.
My cartooning for kids class will be coming back in person, so first Saturday of May. I forget what the time was, because there was a certain time in the olden times we had it this time, but it's a matter of scheduling.
So what is cartooning for kids, so
cartooning for kids was I did it before I was at the library, but it was where it was just, hey, let's go draw something. Let me show you how to break it down by shapes, and we would take suggestions. So I'm still going to try to keep a virtual component, because I know I had a lot of grown-ups who would also watch it, but because it's for kids, from the ages up to like 7 or 8 to 18, we want to keep still at that. But for those who just enjoy tuning just to watch something being drawn, I'm still trying to keep that. It's been a rough week of scheduling and just trying to juggle, and it's trial and error, but I still want to keep at least one drawing component virtual, so people can just kind of share it and show.
Right. And Jan, you are an artist by trade, so Jan has a degree in this and is an artist, so he's helping kids and adults learn how to expound on their own art skills and abilities. So look for cartooning for kids, both virtually and in person at this point. Can you tell us about Coding Club? What is Coding Club, and where are we doing
Coding
that?
Club, which is great, is that it's one of our parent volunteers. It's just teaching kids how to code. I kind of will tell a kid, so you like playing Roblox? This is what you do to make the Roblox. So why don't so they can see it from the other end. So it is the third Saturday of the month. It is from 11 till about 12:30, and we will have it upstairs in our teen zone. We have 4 laptops that are first come first serve, but I encourage parents and kids who do want to attend. Bring your laptop just in case, and we can still social distance and kind of just work you in the round, because the instructor does just kind of walk around and sees what everybody's working on, so everybody can work at their own pace, own skill level. Definitely because we're trying to build an esports program, just as an idea of like the project would be for the kids to make a game, and then have it be where like patrons could go on the library website and just beta test it and see. Like my son was making something where it was a bear just jumping over something, and I'm like, I couldn't do that when I was 11.
Of course not. And coding is kind of the leading up to those technological jobs. Eventually that's where that's headed. If you have those basic skills in coding, you might get into some...
Because they pick it up so fast. I'm like, good for you guys.
So natural. Such a natural thing for them. So we've got those classes are coming back. We made some adjustments during COVID to some of our programs. We made some additions during COVID for some of our programs. Tell us about some of the things that are new, or were new because of COVID, but we're going to keep. For example, the STEAM kits.
Oh, I love, so since July, if you come to Youth Services, that big glass display case by the stairs, that's through Bookmarks and through a generous patron donation that we had funds to buy Steam kits that you could take home just like a book for 3 weeks at a time. And you just, as long as you can return everything back, that way the next family can enjoy it. So that's going to be a thing hopefully forever. It's great, and it's a kind of a cool way of like, let me try this thing out, and if my kids like it and they will continue to play with it, maybe then we'll go and buy it. But at least we can see like, okay, yeah, they like this or they didn't like this. But that's been great.
For those that don't know, a Steam kit is basically a science toy. So you can check that out from our library for how much? How much is that?
It's free $99.
Free $99.
Free.
So our stuff is free, and we're gonna hit on that. And you can take that toy home, play with it with your kids without having to buy it, and then come back, bring it back. We'll clean it up and make sure all the pieces are there, and check it out to the next kid. So the Steam kits are wildly popular. We implemented a couple other programs that have been really popular. What is a Wi-Fi hotspot, and how does that work?
Wi-Fi hotspot, which is great because we got it in August when they were still distance learning. So for people who don't have internet at home or who might live in an area where it's kind of hard to get and they're using like their phone's data, I'm like, no, just come and use our hotspot. It's plug and play. It's from T-Mobile, and you just plug it in, you find the network, and you have internet, and you can do school. And we had a family who used it, and they traveled to Utah, and they were able to use it to do school because they were homeschooling. So that's been really cool, and a lot of patrons will also use it. We got it for families, but then patrons, other Cottonwood Library patrons can avail of it, and it's free. And 3 weeks, and if it helps you do whatever you need to do for those 3 weeks at home, that's great.
Right. The intent was for homework for kids learning away from school. But the reality is, everybody needs internet at some point to do their daily life. So, even if your internet went down for a little bit, or you just don't have great service, come check.
Somebody actually used it for, because like my internet's down. It's like they had a hold, so they were able to use it to just function for the day. Right.
So fill that up with your Wi-Fi hotspot. We've got those here at the Cottonwood Public Library. And the final program that I want to make sure we mention is our curbside service. We're still offering that. What is curbside?
Curbside service is that if you're not comfortable or unable just to come into the library to grab your books or movies, you just once you're notified that my holds have arrived, you call and say, hi, this is John Smith. I've got 3 books and a movie, and I think I'll be there at about 3 o'clock in a red Honda Accord. And you leave, and at 3 o'clock, you give us a call, and we come out, and once we hand it to you, it's been checked out to you, you're good to go, we have a good day, you hand us back anything you want to return, and we will see you in 3 weeks or sooner.
Exactly. So just like many businesses and organizations had to adjust during COVID, so did the Cottonwood Public Library, and some of those new programs we're actually going to keep. So curbside service, Steam kits, Wi-Fi hotspots, all of those will still be at the Cottonwood Public Library. That's enough for new programs right now. When we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about how we function and volunteers and how they help us function. So I'm Ryan Bigelow, I'm your host for Inside Cottonwood today, and we'll be right back.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Library Director Ryan Bigelow, and again we have Mr. Jan Marc with us today, the Library Specialist for Teens. We're talking all things library. We want to make sure that everybody knows that we are open, what kind of services we have, and now we're going to want to veer into the nuts and bolts of why we exist, really, or how we can exist. That's our volunteers.
I love our volunteers.
Yeah, our volunteers are amazing. Unfortunately, during COVID, we had a lot of folks who had a hard time getting into the library. Slowly but surely, we've got library volunteers coming back. It's really wonderful to see all of them. Why are our volunteers so important? And talk to us about what exactly our volunteers are doing.
I think once I started working at the library and I would just see all these people just zipping about, and they're like, oh, you're volunteers and you do the things that I can't get to, or that just need to be done, but you don't have enough, you can't be everywhere at once, but they're just there. They're wonderful people on the adult side and on the youth service side. Whether it's just helping out shelving books or helping read story time. So I appreciate them so much. I think they're great people, and they have their own, they're giving of themselves to just help.
Right.
Like, I help.
Right. They help they do, and they are helping in the community but more than we can explain, and we try to appreciate them as much as we can. You mentioned that there are teen volunteers, so what exactly is that, and what are the benefits of being a teen volunteer?
A teen volunteer is something that I wish I did when I was in high school, and they help in youth services just by. So it's ages 11 to 18. You can be a volunteer. I like saying volunteer. Sounds cool. Volunteer at youth services. It's an hour of time that I ask, and I tell them you pick a day, and if it's kind of like a job. So it's teaching them responsibility. It's teaching them a work ethic, a follow through, and they just help with whether it's pulling holds, shelving books, or organizing. And that's kind of what I love, that I'm like, if they're able to do that task, just, hey, can you go do this? I got to go do this, but I'll come right back and check where you're at. Right. So I have some great volunteers that I forget. Oh my goodness, you're not even staff, but you know this better than I do.
Right. They've done a great job. So my own daughter was a volunteer, and I can tell you that it pretty much it's changed her life. Gave her that first job experience, if you will, had to be there, had some responsibilities, made some friends while she was at it. So an amazing experience. I'm a huge advocate for our volunteers and what we can do.
They get cool badges that I made too. So
cool badges. There's a lot. You get to work with Jan. So it's hardly a job. So it's fun for them. We also have some internship programs at the library.
That was so cool that I didn't know that it was a thing until I got to speak. So before COVID kind of hit, I spoke with a junior class at Mingus and said, hi, and it was several city departments. I said, this is the library. This is who I am, and this is kind of what we're doing. If you're interested, let us know.
Right.
And we have a wonderful. She's great. She's a sweetheart. So, and she's graduating this year, so she'll be going off to college. But like just for like a high school junior going to senior, like, I want to go do this. And it's a great thing because, again, I wish I did this in high school.
Right.
That it teaches them responsibility, and I know you have this busy work schedule, with school, but then you're also doing this.
Yeah.
And
with her, she got to learn the ins and outs of the library.
She did.
The backside, what happens all from the administrative level all the way down, how we pay the bills, how we do a budget. She learned about scheduling.
Interviews.
So hopefully she gained as much as we did having her, because that was. And
we will miss her.
And we will miss her, and so we'll have interns through our program as well.
That's what I'm excited about. We might have 2 next year, so that I got to meet one potential candidate, because the guidance counselor at the high school said, I know a person. I'm like, oh, have her come by and say hi. And she actually, like, the fact that the child came by to say hello, I'm like, that's awesome. Like, follow through. Like, you have interest.
So we have all kinds of volunteers: teen, youth, adult volunteers. We had pre-COVID about 80 volunteers. We were down to about 50%. So we're looking at maybe 50 active volunteers right now, which is a lot. It's great. We want to continue to expand on that. We want to continue to give volunteers responsibilities if that's what they were looking for. We'd love help with grant writing. We'd love help keeping up our community garden, so on and so forth. So there's going to be a ton of volunteer opportunities. We're looking at volunteer spotlights, trying to give them more appreciation, more recognition, if that's something that they appreciate, that they want. We're having a barbecue for them this Saturday, tomorrow. What are we doing for a barbecue?
burgers and dogs and some music, and just to say thank you, and just to be able to chat without having like, okay, hey, thanks, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Right, see, you know, just
Right.
to get to know them.
Right.
So I'm really happy about that.
Spend some time with our volunteers. Hopefully they feel appreciated, and make sure that they, one of the things we want to talk about when we feel about appreciating volunteers is, if you want to look at volunteering at the library, maybe bring a friend. We have some volunteers that work together really well, and so it might just be an easier process. If you've got a friend who might be interested, you can carve out a couple hours to hang out together while volunteering at the library. So it would be a win-win situation. We want to encourage volunteering as a buddy system. Let's get into the Bookmarks a little bit. Bookmarks is our nonprofit that supports the library. Can you tell us about the Bookmarks, what they do, and this year is their 50th anniversary?
They help us. What I really appreciated was that, you know, when I started, I said, I'd like to do an American Sign Language class. Can we make this happen? They said, yeah, sure. I want to bring a small animal to the library and and have all the kids look at it and, you know, learn about, you know, the owl and its environment. And said, yeah, sure, let's do this. So they help us fund programs that, you know, of interest that we think the patrons would enjoy. So I appreciate them, and they're wonderful. Everyone I've met, you know, at Bookmarks, they're just great people. It's nice to see them. I knew them in passing when I was like doing my drawing classes outside of the library, but just to like see them day to day and talk to them, like,
right.
I'd love them.
So our Bookmarks is another volunteer opportunity. If you're looking to support your library, they primarily work with us for funding. I say that the city of Cottonwood and Yavapai County give us everything that we need as far as funds. Bookmarks helps us with everything that we want. So when Jan has a great program idea, we don't quite have the funds to do that. The Bookmarks is able to help us with that, whether that's through grants. They have a book boutique. So if you come into the Cottonwood Public Library, you can purchase gently used books. That money comes right back to us at the library. Mm-hmm. So we want to encourage everybody to take a look at the Bookmarks. And if you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, the Bookmarks is also another great opportunity. Okay, that was volunteers. They help us a ton, and we want to appreciate them as much as we possibly can. Jan is going to play chef tomorrow and cook us up some barbecue, so we can't wait for that. And then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what's next.
Okay.
What does the library look like in the future here? So again, I'm Ryan Bigelow, host of Inside Cottonwood today, and we'll be right back.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.org.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Ryan Bigelow, the Library Director at the Cottonwood Public Library, and I've got our teen specialist, Marc, here today to talk all things library. We went over kind of our adjustments during COVID. We love our volunteers,
yes,
and
we do.
And we want more of them to help us, and we can appreciate them. Let's talk about what's next. What are the big programs going to be coming up, and what does that look like?
Summer reading is back, kids. So it's back. May 17th registration will start, and then it's going to carry through June, July, and part of August. And it'll kind of be similar to last year's, but with some new things. We will be. We're kind of intermixing our librarians on location idea of like going out and meeting your community. So we'll be out taping some segments that you can check out, hopefully with furry animals. So actually we've done some with some normal furry animals, and hopefully with something bigger than a cat.
Right.
So that's happening.
So summer reading program, why are we doing animals?
Tails and tails.
Tails and tails.
Tails
Thank
and
you.
tails. Awesome slogan for it.
So Tails and Tales is the theme for the summer reading program. Summer reading program is designed to keep kids, to motivate them to continue reading throughout the summer, so those skills that they developed in 3rd grade don't drop to 4th grade. So we're trying to incentivize kids to continue reading. We're going to do awesome things like send them to out of Africa and give them tickets and have a lot of incentives for our summer reading program. So when does that start and how do they register?
You can go, so May 17th is registration. You can go on to the library Facebook page and, library website, Youth Services, the Youth Services tab. And once you click onto that, you'll actually see the Tails and Tales. You'll see a little PSA about it.
Right.
And that's kind of where you start the ball of,
Tails and Tales Summer Reading Program. You can register starting May 17th. So we are doing some virtual stuff for that. We're going out into our community. We're filming interviews. We're filming story times. We kind of want that to evolve into a different program called Librarians on Location. What is that?
Librarians on Location is basically who are the people in your neighborhood, and we will just go to either local businesses or different city departments just to show the community this is who this person is, and this is kind of what they did in their life to get to this position, or this is what, if you want to go and figure out how the water is processed through town.
Right.
Well, I've always wanted to go to the wastewater treatment plant. I just kind of want to know, that's what this building is. This is what you do. Wow.
How does that work? And then we can educate our community, connect our community on how these things work, and who are the people behind the scenes. Who are those people? How are we going to be able to do this technology-wise? How are we setting up to be able to film, record, do things on YouTube?
So we are trying to have a multimedia space especially I want one for the teen zone area, just for just in case if there's a child who wants to do a podcast about their love of penguins, but they don't have the equipment to do it. We have it, and you can go and block time for you to record your podcast or record your YouTube channel for it, and it's free. The goal is free. It's $3.
Okay, wonderful.
$3.
So everything we're doing at the library is free. That's important for everybody to know. We're trying to create a digital media space. We're going to do that one way or the other. So our kids
and local businesses and
local
general
businesses,
public,
anybody can be creators of content, just not consumers of content. That's what we want to create. Our local businesses. You went for a stroll down in Old Town yesterday. What did you find out?
I found out they're hiring.
They're hiring.
They're hiring.
Okay.
Just every place was hiring, and I kind of was telling them a story of how a team that I knew for the past year, we got to talking, and he was looking for a job, and I pointed and said, "Hey, go to this place because I know the guy who runs this place."
Right.
And he did, and he has a job, and so we're trying to help fill a need with adults and teens who do want to work.
Right.
And just I want to be able to tell them these are the places that I know. This is who you can contact. They are hiring, whether it's in food service or any other industry. So we have we have resumes up in our teen laptops. If a kid wants to make a resume and they don't know how, let's go make one. Have you ever been on an interview? No. Let's go set up a mock interview so you can just kind of see how to dress, how to talk, just how to present yourself as the best possible candidate for that job.
For teens or adults, we want to be able to help. We've got our jobs computers. We've got some basic information on how to do your resumes, how to get there, because sometimes that can be the hardest part to getting the job is actually getting on the computer, filling out the application.
Yes.
So if that's an issue at all, please give us a call, set up a time. We want to help you get to work. We want to help our local businesses be able to thrive and be able to provide. Yeah. I mean,
feed us and entertain us.
We understand that our paychecks actually come from the tax money, and the tax money come from our local businesses. So we appreciate you, our local businesses.
That's why we're doing what we can on our side.
That's why we want to help. Jobs board, resume and interview coaching. So we want to be a part of all of that. We want to quickly touch on bigger programs that we might be looking forward to in the future, like the Comic Expo and the book fair.
The book fair, COVID shut down a lot of things. A lot of things didn't happen, and it's kind of trickled into a bit of this year. But we want to hopefully end the year strong and actually have a book fair, have the author fair, and then hopefully in the new year have our comic expo. We still have the shirts, and we will use them. It'll be awkward, but we're just gonna let that go. But still wear the shirts, and just again welcome back the community and all the fun creators who we had just visit our area. It's great for the area. It just brings in some business. That's kind of when we first started. I wanted that for one day. Let's just have this fun thing that helps summer reading, and then people just get to experience Cottonwood, and maybe they come back again and again and again. So
that's the idea.
Fingers crossed.
Help those local businesses. Okay, that's all the time we have for today's Inside Cottonwood. It flies by very quickly.
It does.
Thank you for tuning in today. Visit us at your local Cottonwood Public Library. You can do that in person. You can do that online. We want to meet you wherever you're at. So Jan, Mark, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Again, I'm Ryan Bigelow from the Cottonwood Public Library, and thanks for joining us today on Inside Cottonwood.